So one of the questions that we often get, particularly at the National Down Syndrome Congress or in other places where we're in person with families, is so, we're somewhere in the journey, we're starting the journey. What's the word of advice? What should we be doing? And so I'll throw that out to Stacy, Dana, and see who wants to start.
Oh my goodness. Go ahead, Dana.
Okay, I'll start. Now,
Yeah.
here's an interesting thing, at least to me, my advice has changed over time. And
Hmm.
my advice for the youngest parents is don't worry, everything's going to be okay.
Right.
And the reason that would be my first piece of advice is that when you are new to Down syndrome and the community, it all feels very big and unknown. But if you're just looking at the next step, whether it's at home, at school, or in the community, that next little step, that's much more manageable. And
Yeah.
people sometimes take in all all of what they feel is going to be in front of them and they get overwhelmed and that makes you shut down. So I just want to say, as someone who has a 26-year-old son and has lived it, that it really will be okay. And to the extent that you have issues or hiccups, that's why we created Empowered Learning Community so that we can be there to help.
Yeah, I love that. I am surprised that I think that's a great piece of advice, though, and I think it's almost the way everybody should start, right? It's the way everybody needs to get that mindset of I'm going to do what I can as I can do it, and nothing more can be
Yes,
expected. Yeah,
love your
I think
child,
that's
right? Love
awesome.
your child. Appreciate those moments. They're just children.
Yeah.
Everyone has challenges. It's just a diagnosis.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, mine, it's so funny because I think I thought along the same lines of you as you did. Of course, being the behavioral person, mine has to have some sort of specific action because behavioral people are nothing if not highly specific. And I thought, well, but still, you can't do it all. It's not about, solving the big issues as much as it is starting as you mean to go. And so for me, when I work with families who are young and starting out, my initial advice is think about your consistency, think about your predictability. I know you know. How do they know? How will they know what's coming next? How do they know what's expected? So, just offering up more supports around how we can be consistent as caregivers, educators, therapists, and how we can communicate that consistency in a predictable way to our loved ones makes a huge difference.
Huge difference. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, on my end, what I'd like to tell parents is it's similar to what I've just recently experienced, and that's buying a car. And buying a car, my goodness, the research we do, right? The people we talk to, the trial runs we do, it takes time, but it's well worth the investment, right? We get knowledge, we understand, and then of course that investment. Well, the same with having a child with Down syndrome. There's a lot to learn and a lot to be educated on. And those sources are going to come from a variety of places. Yes, family, yes, friends, but also things we read, presentations we go to, different types of evidence-based or what we really reinforce evidence and research behind it. And so at times, as we get into that, we may realize, oh my gosh, that was a lot of time this week that I spent learning about my son or learning about my daughter or learning about those resources. But those times are well worth it and well spent because it then allows and empowers us as individuals and as parents and as part of that overall community to be able to support our child. And that's at the end of the day what we want to do. And so that would be my words of advice.
And
That's good advice.
I think Sean should get an extra bonus point because he used the word empowered in his response. So I definitely feel like bonus points for Sean.
Good.